have a hard time catching up with this class, okay? All right, let's do this. So what we talked about for 4.4, yesterday's video notes, is something called parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're graphing a bunch of lines, and you have to decide if they're parallel or perpendicular. So there were basically two rules. Parallel lines, so this is the symbol for parallel, so you don't have to spell it out anymore. Parallel lines, and then this is the symbol for perpendicular lines. Okay, does anyone remember the rules? And they can raise their hand. It's something about the slopes. What do you think, Garrett?
For the parallel, they have identical slopes.
Thank you. Do you know the thing about the perpendicular?
Oh, they're like opposite slopes.
So they're yes, so they're exactly opposite reciprocal slopes. So what it means is if one was positive, the other one's negative, and the number is flipped. So like the fraction, if it was like 1/2, now it's 2/1. So two things happen if it's perpendicular. Okay, so let's take a look at number one. It says, which of the lines, if any, are parallel or perpendicular? So we can't just look at this, okay? We can't just look and say, oh, well, that kind of looks like 90 degrees. Those two look like they don't ever touch each other. You need some proof. You need some work, okay? So what we have to do is basically just compare slopes. Find the slope, find the slope, find the slope of every single one, and then we can compare the numbers, and that's how you can be exact. So it looks like my lines are A, B, and C, okay? So I'm going to find these slopes, A, B, and C. So slope is the letter M, right? So I'm going to find the M, or the slope, of A. So here's A. When I write MA, it's not ma, it's the slope of A. Okay, so what's the easiest way to calculate slope if I have a picture? What do I do, Emily? Rise over run. So they give me two dots, so all I have to do is count rise over run. So your rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. Your run is 1, 2. What did I do wrong? It's a -2, right? Because you're going backwards. So 4 over -2, put it in your calculator if you need to, but it's just -2. 4 divided by -2 is -2. So that's my first slope. Now let's find the slope of the next one. So M of B, the slope of B, letter B. So here's two dots on letter B. I'm counting rise over run. Can someone raise their hand if they know it's what over what? Don't simplify it yet, but it's just rise how many, run how many. Read. Yes, sir. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So 2 over 2. That can be simplified as well. Read, do you know what that simplifies to? Yeah, 2 divided by 2 is just 1. But use your calculator, right? How do you really double check? Just put it in your calculator. Alpha y equals enter. 2 over 2 is 1. That's it. Okay, let's find the last one. The last one is letter C. So find the slope of C. Whoa, how did that all of a sudden turn white again? That was weird. Okay, so the slope of C is right here. So here's my two dots. I'm going to count rise over run. Can someone different raise their hand and tell us it's what over what? Ashlyn? 2 over 1. Ashlyn, you just forgot something teeny tiny. -1. Yeah, because you're going backwards. So 2 over -1, if you don't know what that is in your head, that's okay. That's why we have a calculator. No shame. It is -2. So now that I've shown work, this is the work you have to show. Find the slope, find the slope, find the slope. Say if any are parallel or perpendicular. So can someone raise their hand and make your final answer, your final decree? Kip, what you got?
C and A are parallel and then nothing is perpendicular.
Exactly. A and C are perpendicular. Oh, explain. Because
no, they're parallel.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. A and C are parallel because why, Kip?
Because they have the same slope.
Same slopes. So A and C are perpendicular. Ah, sorry. Oh my God. I can't talk. A and C are parallel because they have the same slope. And then nothing is perpendicular, so we don't have to write anything about that. Okay. Let's do the next one. Now, let's see if anything is parallel or perpendicular. If they don't give me a picture and they give me a lot of points. So If they give me a lot of points, it doesn't matter. Find the slope, find the slope, find the slope. So I'm going to find the slope, the m of A, by showing my work. I'm going to find the slope of B by showing my work. I'm going to find the slope of C by showing my work. Okay, so how do I find slope if I'm given 2 points?
Y1
Nope.
or Y2 over
Nope.
Y. Y2 minus Y1
Yeah.
over X.
So here's a formula. It goes like this: y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And remember what I do? I just label x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so all of you choose a letter. Let's all do a different one, okay? So you in your head choose A, B, or C, and then find the slope. And then someone else in this class will do the other 2 letters. And then so it's kind of like we're doing a third of the work. You don't have to do all of them. Okay, let's just do, you just choose one and then we'll copy everyone else's, if that makes sense. So you choose A, you choose B, you choose C, whatever letter you want to do. And then someone else will hopefully have chosen another letter. Show your work though, like what numbers are you plugging in? I'll give you another 20 seconds to find the slope for your problem. But basically, to see if anything is parallel or perpendicular, find the slope, find the slope, find the slope of all of them. And then you can compare the numbers. Okay, someone online. Did anyone do the slope of A if you're online? Can you just unmute yourself and shout it out? -1. Thank you. So hopefully you got -1. I did as well. That's a slope for letter A. So if you did not do letter A on your own paper, can you just write it down? Just so later on you're not going to be like, huh, what? What happened? Okay, so -1. All right, letter B. Did someone online find the slope for letter B? Can you just unmute and shout it out? Okay, did anyone in person? Oh, yes, sorry, what?
3/2.
Thank you. 3/2. I got that too. So if you didn't do letter B on your paper, just copy it down right now. All right, someone in person. Did anyone do letter C? Sienna? -3. I got that as well. So if you didn't do letter C, copy it down right now. So the point is you find the slope, you find the slope, you find the slope, then you can make your determination. So here are your numbers: -1, 3/2, -3. Can someone raise their hand and tell us which ones are parallel, which ones are perpendicular, or nada? Nothing. Rowan, what do you think?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing is the same number, so nothing is parallel. Nothing is like positive, negative, flipped, but also the numbers are flipped. So I would say nada. Nothing. Okay. But to get to this answer, you have to show your work. So this is the work you would have to show on your level work. Okay. All right. Finally, number 3. For this one, I want to see which ones are parallel or perpendicular, and they don't give me the points to find the slope. They don't give me a picture to do rise over run. So how can I find the slope if I'm given the equation? What do I do? Vaughn? Yeah. So Vaughn, what number here is the slope? 3/4. Do you see how, guys, if they give you the equation and if it's already in y equals mx plus b form, boom, there's a slope. So my slope for letter A is 3/4. I think someone's phone's going off. Is that someone's phone in their backpack? Nope, stop. It's okay, whatever. Okay, let's do the next one. So let's find the slope of B. I can't just look at this and find the slope, right? I have to solve for y. So if this is my equation, I'm just kind of gonna pull it out right there just so I have more room. Let's solve for y. What do I have to do? Kip?
Add.
Nope. Everyone always wants to say add, but you don't add.
Divide -3.
Thank you.
Divide.
Divide both sides by -3, right? Because it's -3 times y. So if they're connected, you divide by -3, or you divide by that number. Okay, so my equation is really y equals. Now remember, everything gets divided by the -3. So 4 divided by -3 is -4/3. Doesn't matter if I put the negative on top or bottom or the center. And then I have an x. And then -3 divided by -3 is +1. Does that make sense? So everything gets divided by -3. So, boom, isn't that my slope? So my slope for letter B is -4/3. Okay. Now let's do letter C. So let's solve for letter C here. Okay. I don't have it solved for y, so what do I have to do to both sides? Divide by 4. So I'm dividing both sides by 4. I get y equals, does someone think they can write the whole equation for us? Like, what would that look like divided by 4? Reed, what do you think?
No, I forgot how to divide mine.
Okay, does anyone else think they can do it? You just divide every single number up here by 4. Vaughn? Yeah, or you can just say 9/4. Either one's fine. So do you see how like -3 divided by 4, not a whole number, so write it as a fraction. 9 divided by 4, not a whole number, so just write it as a fraction. And that's it. So my slope for this one looks like it's -3/4. So my slope is -3/4. Okay, so now we can have our numbers, we can make our determination. So I have 3/4, -4/3, -3/4. Let's do parallel first. Are any of these parallel? No, because none of these numbers are exactly the same. Like this one's positive, this one's negative. That's not exactly the same. Okay, are any of these perpendicular though? Yes. All right, so what do we think then? Emily, what is perpendicular to what?
Line B is.
B is perpendicular to C. That's very, very close.
It's A is perpendicular.
Yes, A is perpendicular. Do you see how A is perpendicular to B? Or B is perpendicular to A. Doesn't matter. You can flip them. Because the reason why is because this is positive, this is negative, but then also they're flipped. 3/4 flipped is 4/3. So because the slopes are opposite reciprocals. Okay. Last one, number 4. This is probably the hardest type of question that you are going to see all chapter. Okay, like for this whole chapter, this one is probably going to be one of the hardest ones. So I'm going to star it. You had one like this on your video notes, but let me explain it one more time. You're going to have a couple like this on your level work to practice yourself. Okay, so let's read the question. What are they asking me to do? Write an equation of a line that passes through the given point and is perpendicular to this line. So they're telling me, write the equation of a line. My final answer is going to look like this. I just have to fill in the 2 numbers. So write the equation of a line. So it's going to end up like this. It has to be perpendicular to this line. So perpendicular, you know that something has to happen with the slope. But it also has to pass through these points. So first of all, if my line is perpendicular to this, what is the new slope? Reed, what do you think? Does that make sense? If the slope is 2 over 3, then perpendicular is going to be negative 3 over 2. Because you're flipping it, and then you're also adding the negative symbol to it. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I already got 1/2 of the answer. I just need the other half. I need this. Well, this is the B. I don't know the B, but they give you a point. We've been doing this now like every day for the last 2 or 3 days. Does anyone know what I have to do to solve for this B?
So plug in the points.
Yeah, plug in your X and your Y to solve for B. So this is what you would say. You would say, okay, so I have Y equals negative 3 over 2X plus B. Does that make sense? Like I'm using my new slope because they said that it has to be perpendicular. But now plug in your X and your Y. So your Y is 2 equals negative 3 over 2 times negative 2 plus B. So next what I do is I multiply this. Multiply it in your calculator if you need to. Negative 3 over 2 times negative 2 is just positive 3. Like if you type that in your calculator, you just get 3 plus B. Now I minus 3 on both sides. I get negative 1. And that's it. That's my answer. So kids every year think that this is like the hardest question because I think the directions are just like, what do I do? But if you read it carefully, just change your slope because it had to be perpendicular. If it said to make it parallel, then you would keep the slope the same, right? And then take your X and Y to solve for B and boom, that's your answer. Okay, put that off to the side, take out your level work. I'm gonna have you cross out some because we have something else to do right now. And I want to give you lots of time. So guys, this is due Thursday, okay? It's not due tomorrow, Wednesday. It's due Thursday before class because I want to make sure that you know what you're doing, okay? So let's cross out 1 and 2. Let's cross out 4. And go to the back. Let's cross out 8. And then let's cross out 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Maybe I should have just had you circle which ones to do. Okay, so maybe let's just circle which ones to do. You're circling number 3. Circling number 5 and 6. So 3, 5, 6. Those are the only ones you're doing in the front. Okay, 3, 5, 6. Those are the only ones you're doing in the front. The back, you're just doing 7 and 9. So I'm only giving you, how many is that? 5 questions for level work, and it's due Thursday, not tomorrow. You have to show your work, I think, for every single one. The answers are on Schoology under today's date, but you have to show your work for every single one, okay? But I wanted to give you lots of time because we're not doing level work right now. So is anyone friends with Nadia in this class, by the way? No, not Nadia, sorry. Yes, Nadia. No? Okay. I'll ask my other class then because I don't want her to do all of them because she left. All right.